right, you guys, we're back with part two. This interview with Tony the Tiger Lopez. So, Tony, we talked a little bit about your career. I want to talk a little bit about this. You got a YouTube channel called 12 Rounds of Adrenaline that you're just barely starting up. And one thing I want to say before we get into it is, you guys that are watching this channel, please subscribe to that channel, man. Help him grow. We support the channel. So if you guys would go ahead and subscribe to his channel, 12 Rounds of Adrenaline. So let me get into it. The first question I wanted to ask you about the channel. So you indicated your channel was created to help educate, inform, and teach people how to box in a way that doesn't get taught much. In a way, it doesn't get taught much anymore. Obviously, you're old school. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I'm training a little girl. She's autistic, and she's a functional autistic. And I didn't know anything about autism. I don't know, so I inquired. I found out that with autistic kids, when they find something that they really like to do, they can really square in and focus in on it. They get so focused that they become really good at what they're focused in on.
Yeah.
So, and boxing's her thing, and I taught her a few things, and I've only been training her for a few months. Then her mom and dad took her to the Junior Olympics. I couldn't go, but so they took another trainer. But he kind of knows what I'm doing, or doing for her. So they went down to the Junior Olympics, and she comes back. She won, and the mom's telling me, she goes, she did some moves out there that the fans could not believe. I mean, she was sidestepping, hooking. She was doing all kinds of crazy that amateurs don't even do.
Yeah.
Because I train her like a pro. So she got good defense. She got certain moves that no one does. I've even taught her how to throw a bolo punch that nobody throws anymore, and because it's a really good punch, and if you throw it right, it can be very devastating. So I just try to help out when I can. You know what I mean?
That's good stuff, man. So I guess this kind of segues into this next question. Why are these factors so important to you?
What factors? As in,
educating, informing, or teaching these kids how to box. A lot of them, I'm sure, too, have been bullied. You know what I mean? Things like that. So why is it important for you?
You know what, man? Because you know what, I don't pick on people, man. I've never been that guy. I've always stuck up for people that didn't want or couldn't fight. I'm that guy. I don't know, man. It's just something. If I feel, I just started charging for less. I've never charged a day in my life, but because people join, they quit, they don't show up. I'm leaving my household and my stuff to go to the gym and work with these kids for an hour and a half, 2 hours, right? And some days I go up and there's no one there. I'm going, man, this is BS, man. I'm wasting my time for kids that don't even want to do it.
Yeah.
So then it happened one too many times. So I thought, man, screw it. Everybody gonna pay me $150 a week, or I'm not doing it. Now I got some that show up on a regular basis, so them I'm not charging. Anybody else, they can pay, because everybody's wasting my time. But the ones that, even the ones, some of the ones that come all the time, they don't want to be fighters. They want to stay in shape. Maybe they wanted to help them out in a street fight here and there if something ever happens. It's a crazy world now,
Yeah.
And that's what it's for, and that's what they use it for. Now I'm good with that, and I don't charge them anything. But when they start wasting my time and not showing up and making me go down there for nothing, I'm like, I'm good. You know what I mean? It's just a passion that I have.
Yeah. Hey, man, time is a commodity.
Yes, sir.
Straight up. How do others benefit from your methods in other facets of life?
You know what? A while ago, in my old neighborhood I used to live in, I had retired, and I had a bunch of kids training kids in the garage, and I had this mom bring her little kid, and he was a little guy. He's, I don't know, maybe 5 foot tall, a little skinny kid, and then in a boxing gym, there's always a bunch of little thug kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're always little tough kids. And this guy's a little white boy, kind of shy, kind of walking up to the driveway with his head down. Mom has him by the side. She goes, "Hey, can you teach my son how to box?" And he's getting picked on at school, blah, blah, blah. He has no friends, doesn't really communicate, doesn't really do anything. She was, he's got to get more confidence. And I said, sure, yeah. So I brought him in the gym. And then, at first the kids were picking on him. And watch, I was training him how to box, watch him hit the bag, and he is getting better. And now he's starting to mess around with the kids, but he's doing it, and I'm not noticing it. Until one day, and it might have been 3-4 months later. One day he walks up the driveway, and they say something to him. He's talking smack back, and I look at him and I'm going, when did that happen? He just came out, and he lasted another month or so. And then he quit. I never see him anymore. But I did see his mom in the store like about maybe 6 months later. And I said, "Hey, whatever happened to your son?" She goes, "Oh my goodness." She goes, "You know what? She goes, "I don't know what you did to him, but he went out there. He's got more friends than he can shake a stick at." He goes, "He's just with everybody now." And so it does that. It gives you a confidence builder. It does a lot.
Yeah, that's
Boxing is a
right.
great sport.
So your training videos indicate you work with all ages, all skill levels. You show immense patience and compassion. You also seem to project confidence into others who may lack quality. Is that intentional or a coincidence?
It's kind of both. Some people you're looking to do that too. Some people you're looking to give them a little bit more confidence. Some people just develop it. Especially when you start sparring. I can teach you how to throw a jab and throw a right hand, but in reality, how do you ever know it's going to work if you don't try it? If you don't try to hit somebody with it. So, like I tell people that even the ones that don't want to spar, I go, at some point in time, you're going to want to spar because you're going to know if it works or not. And you know what? When it starts to work, their confidence level, their whole persona about them changes.
Yeah.
Because maybe they don't think they can do it, but they get in, they start sparring, and they start sparring with beginners like them. And it might take them 2 or 3 times to jump in there, but the third time they start missing and start throwing punches back, and all of a sudden you can see their confidence level while they're doing it. You can see their confidence level get up a little bit higher, and you went, "Oh shit, okay, it's starting to work now." And that's what and
That's right.
it feels good for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Were you ever bullied? What advice would you give others if they find themselves in that position or being pulled, pressured into criminal activity?
Here, like I tell kids all the time, I said I was never bullied, and I don't bully people. I don't do that. That's not me. But if you run into a bully, there's a lot of things you can do to a bully. You can either let him pick on you and make you cry, or you can fight, and it's only going to hurt while you're getting hit. After that, and check this out: bullies pick on people because they know they're not going to fight back. But once you start to fight back, guess what? Bullies are going to come. Probably there's 10 other people they can pick on besides you, and they most likely
Yeah.
will. And that's really how it is. And so, I tell them that, and kids get a lot of good confidence from someone that's in the boxing game. Especially if you're talking about fighting, or handling your business. If I never boxed, then why would they listen to me? If I never want to fight, why would they listen to me? So carrying that presence of being a 3-time world champion does help. It makes them focus in on what you're saying a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. What's your fondest memory while making all your videos?
Which ones?
I would imagine the I would imagine there you go, man. The videos that you did with your YouTube videos that you do with the kids or the training videos. I think that's what she meant.
Yeah, you know what? They're all fun. I'm a people person. I've done a lot of movies. I
Yeah.
do a lot. I do a lot of low budget movies. Where sometimes they pay you, sometimes they can't, sometimes they don't. And I really don't care. I do it for fun. I do it for training. It's like training for a fight. You got to train before you fight. So I figured, hey man, because I talked to a lot of people that are in movies, right? And one guy told me, he goes, a real famous guy, he goes, hey man, he goes, here Tony, he goes, let me tell you something. He goes, what you're doing is really good for those low budget movies. He goes, do them all the time, do as many as you can. And I'm going, why? Because you know a lot of them don't pay you, and I'm thinking, well, taking up my time, I got to drive down to Lake Tahoe or Reno or something that ain't cheap. And they go, well, because you're getting experience. He goes, the more experience you get, the time when it does happen, you'll already know what's happening. You'll already know what to do.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's a main thing in Hollywood. He goes, know what you have to do. And I go, okay. So I did it. And as a matter of fact, one movie that we did, it was a really good movie. My parts were cool. But the guy that we did them with sells them back in Europe. And I guess one year, because he told me, he goes, hey man, he goes, can you go to Europe? And I'm going, for what? Because I didn't know he sold them in Europe. And he goes, hey man, he goes, one of the movies we did is a runner-up. He goes, if there's before the runner-up, you know, for the runner-ups, we were just for the runner-ups tied with another movie. And whoever wins that, they have to go show up for their movie thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, oh, cool, yeah, okay. But, you know, we lost. So I guess because I never heard we had to go. So I guess we lost. So, but, you know, just to be in there is good, you know.
Yeah.
The first thing I've ever done for a movie, I was in Phenomenon with John Travolta back in the 90s or something, like early 90s. That was cool. That was filmed up above Sacramento. And then I was just an extra. And it was my first time ever doing it. I was a Mexican farm worker. So, you know, he just goes.
Yeah. Did you get to interact with John Travolta?
During in between times, yeah, not during the movie, but in between times, you know. The part was that I'm in. There's a guy. I guess he's sick inside of a bed, inside of a room, in a house. In front of their house is an old, like a '53 greenish pickup, a Chevy, and there's a Mexican behind that Chevy pickup, Mexican farm worker. I'm the Mexican farm worker, you know. And they show my face, you know, because everybody knew who I was. I was champion of the world, so they knew who I was. And then I talked to a lot of people. It was cool, man. I had a really good time. It was fun, you know.
That's cool, man. No. So you got a bail bonds business. Tony the Tiger Lopez bail bonds. You started your own business.
Yeah, back in I got licensed in 1999. I opened doors in 2000. I'm sorry, in 1989. No. When did I get licensed? No, 99. 99. I opened my business in 2000, and then you know, it was a trip. You know, you're Tony the Tiger. You're in Sacramento, and I got a building, an office right across the street from the courthouse. Right, my first day, I didn't know how it was going to go. You know, I didn't know if it was going to be successful or not worth anything. So I really didn't put a lot of money into it. I had a desk, a chair, and I didn't have a sign on my door yet. Had nothing yet. I'm sitting in my office, first day of my on the job. I'm sitting in my office going, there's no one to talk to. You know, my wife was a process server. She owned a process serving company, so she was out working. And I said, "You come on up to the bail bonds office. I'm gonna make a lot of money." She goes, "Nah." She goes, "You go do your thing." She goes, "I'm gonna stick with what we're doing. We'll work." So okay. So I'm in my office just sitting there. Guy opens my door and he goes, "Hey, is this a bail bonds office?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Are you a bail bondsman?" I go, "Yeah." And I go, "Come on in." He comes in. He goes, "Hey man, you have no signage." I go, "No man, I was my first day." I go, "You're my first person I talked to. My first day I opened up." He goes, "Really?" Yeah. I goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Aren't you Tony the Tiger Lopez?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh man." He goes, "All right." He goes, so we start bullshitting, right? And then he goes, "Yeah man, the judge just said my son has a $30,000 bail. You know." He goes, "Man, I love being your first client, man. That's cool, man." He goes, "Can I make payments?" I go, he goes, "How much I have to put down?" I go, "Put 15." At the time, it was half down and the half in payments. And he goes, "Okay, I'll give you half down." And so he goes, "Can you get my cash Joe right now?" I go, "Yeah, no problem." He'll be about 6 hours. He goes, "Okay, cool." And he goes, "Oh man," he goes, "I'm your first customer, man. I'll pay it all." So he wrote me a check for 3 racks, and I went and posted the bond. Went home to my wife. I go, "How much money did you make today?" She goes, "Why?" She goes, "I made 3 racks." I go, "How about you?" And she goes, "No." And from there, but this was back in the 90s. It was a really, really, really good business. And it was a type of business that you could wake up in the morning and go, let's go to Europe and go, and it was really that type of business. And then the fun part was actually the bounty hunting part.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, no, it was because watch, I had a bunch of hood rats with me, all my homies, and we had a couple black guys, a couple Mexicans. Dude, you know what? Watch, when we hit a house like there was like there was no tomorrow. Sometimes we had like it depends on what area you're in Sacramento. Sometimes cops go, hey man, let's escort you. We don't get involved. Well, let's escort you. Make sure the neighbors don't get involved. And okay, let's go. But we had houses in Oak Park, man, and we tear things apart. We do it ghetto style. That's what we know. And then at the first 2 years, como pendejo, I didn't know how to find people right away. I didn't know anything about it because remember I'm new in the business. I had nothing. And then so I lost some people that were jump bail, and I lost them because I didn't know how to find them. And then so for the first 2 years, I think I lost almost to the penny, about $500,000. And
Wow.
then that's my money. And then so my wife goes, hey, pendejo, you better figure this out. And I go, you know what? I'm not gonna lose anybody else. I'm gonna learn how to find these guys, and I'm not gonna lose anybody else. And she goes, you better not. We'll be broke. And so I got with a bunch of bounty hunters in Sacramento. We all at dinner. They go to dinner all the time. And so I started helping them, and then to learn how to do it. And they started helping me, and I helped them. And then eventually we went from, instead of hiring bounty hunters, we did it on our own.
Kind of
And so,
networked them.
yeah, and we networked, and it worked out really well. And,
Yeah.
and I haven't lost one since the first 2 years of business. That was
Freddie.
Oh yeah, yeah, that guy. But that was somebody I knew, and I thought, nah, he would never do that, but he did. You know.
Yeah, that's I was gonna ask you. Was there a lot of people, like a lot of Northerners that try to reach out to you because they thought that there was that connection there? You being, I'm telling you, a lot of people used to associate you with being a Northerner. But were homeboys trying to reach out to you and trying to play that card to try to get you to bail them out because you had that business?
Everybody does. To me, watch. La verdad, I'm a businessman. Here, you got to have this, and this. If you don't have that, it ain't gonna happen. And I don't care who you are. If my
Right.
mama went to jail and she had no co-center, because my mama would run. No, I'm kidding. But you got to it's a business. You got to play
Yeah.
it right. Because see, here's how bail works, man. If you have a $50,000 bail and you run and I can't find you, me myself, not no insurance company, me myself, out of my pocket, pay $50,000.
Right.
Plus, I'm paying for all the stuff for all the people to go hunt you down, food, gas, lodging, everything. That's $100,000 right there on a $50,000 bond. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm like anybody that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
yeah.
but people were pretty cool, man. You know what? I had this one brother. He came in. I don't know what kind of case he was fighting, and he comes in. I bail him out. Let's say it was like $100,000 bail, and then he comes into my office one day, and he goes, "Hey, Tony, man," he goes, "I want to talk to you, man." I go, "Okay, sit down, let's talk." He goes, "Hey, look," he goes, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to court today. I got sentenced. Okay," he goes, "I got 12 years." And he's cool as a cucumber, man. He goes, "Hey, Miss Lopez," and he goes, "I'm going to take my family on vacation." He goes, "I got my turn date is this date." He goes, "But I won't make it. I'll be a week late because I'm taking my family on a vacation." He goes, "I'm taking them on a cruise. We're going to like a 3-week cruise, and we're going to be gone for a long time." And he goes, "I'm just letting you know." I go, "Okay." I go, "I'll tell you what, man." He goes, "I'm not running." He goes, "I'll just be on a cruise on vacation because I'll be gone 12 or 13 years, whatever it was." But he sounded so real. I went, "All right, bro." I go, "You know what, man? Here's what you do. I will give me your itinerary of your cruise, of where all the islands are going, everywhere you're going, where you're taking the ship at, what your flight to get to the ship, back here, everything." And he goes, "Okay, Miss Lopez." He goes, "I have no problem doing that." Well, he went, got home, got his paperwork, had everything said it was legit. So I said, have fun. And then, and it might have been a month in between times that I'd seen him since that day to the second time I seen him. And I forgot, I'm busy, I'm working. So I'm sitting at my desk one day and all of a sudden you hear these feet come up the steps. I'm going, I look at him and go, oh shit, that fool came back. He's walking up my steps, walks in my door, and he goes, how you doing today, Miss Lopez? He always called me Miss Lopez. I'm going, good, dude. I'm going, you mean you came back to serve 12 years? I go, are you nuts? And I go, I really didn't think you was coming back. He goes, well, I had to, Miss Lopez. And I'm going, why? I'm shocked. And I'm going, why? He goes, because I told you I was. He goes, Miss Lopez. I go, dude, I didn't think you were going to come back. He goes, Miss Lopez, I may be a bad guy, but I'm not a liar. I go, no, you're not. He goes, and he sits down, and I go, hey, man, I was very honorable, dude. And so we're sitting down talking, and he goes, okay, Miss Lopez. He goes, I'm ready to go. So he goes, you want to handcuff me here? You want? I go, no, dude. We'll walk to the jail. We'll have a chat. Walk to the jail. I go, I have to cuff you before you go in the jail because they won't allow me to send you in there with uncuffed. He goes, no problem, Miss Lopez. So we walk down to the jail. I cuff him up. I walk him in. They take him up, put him away. I haven't seen him since. You know,
Yeah.
and that taught me a lot, dude. That really taught me that just because you're a criminal doesn't mean you're a liar. You
Yeah.
know, you may be a bad guy, but you might be a man of your word. You know, and don't take it wrong. I don't believe everybody, but this guy he had that about him that I could just tell that he was being true. You know, he I thought he was gonna come. Well, I let him go, so I honestly thought he was gonna come back. So I was kind of shocked that he did, but he came back.
Sound like a real respectable stand-up type of guy, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you kind of already talked about how you found your way into the bail bonds business. Are you able to offer something more than other same like businesses about bail bonds businesses?
You know what, dude? What I offer is a no BS when it comes to business. If they ask a question, I'm honest. You know, it's your money. I'm not trying to play with nobody's money. I'm not trying to play with nobody's life. You know, people say, "Hey, man, I did this. What can I get? What am I looking at?" I go, "I don't know." I go, Do you have a past?" "Yeah." "Then I really don't know because all that counts." I go. I'm honest. I'm 100% honest with people. If I know, I tell you. If I don't know, I tell you I don't know. I guess because it's all about the same. You know, every door you open is going to be about the same.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, and so I mean, here's what I do. Uh, we were making so much money that when people went to jail or went to prison, and their grandmother was stuck paying the payments, and $200 or $300 on a grandma is a lot of money. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because she's not working, she's on Social Security. It's a lot of money for her. So there's a million times they still owe two, three, four, $5,000, and we just call them and just say, "Man, just we're good, scratch it.
Yeah.
You don't need it anymore." And we did that all the time. So we just treated people like I would want to be treated. And I think if you do people right, good things happen to you. I'm not going to say that it happens all the time. There's always those that defy that law, but you handle it accordingly.
Yeah. I'm a believer in good karma myself, bro.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, it's a tough business, man. Do you think your background gives you an edge, being a bail bondsman?
Yeah, because there's times we had to. No one really wants to fight. I'm always ready for that. I've always been was always willing to say, we can fight, but no one ever really wants to fight. Do you chase people? Yeah, I've been. People tried to run me over in a motorhome. They tried to ram me in my cars. I've been all kinds of stuff. I've been across the borders. I've been in different states. You have to deal with and then when you go there across the state line, you have to deal with different uh, city ordinances, state ordinances. You have
Yeah.
to allow you to have guns, some don't. I mean, it's just crazy, but you learn a lot, and when when you go with a bunch of friends, anyways, it's a fun ride, it's a party, so we have fun with it, you know.
Yeah. We got about 7 more minutes before we have to do that one more time, but we can still keep going, man. So your boxing gym, or boxing gym trainer, you Deepwater Academy in Fairfield. That's where the gym's at, right?
No, I train at a place called it's called Downtown Boxing in I think it's Downtown Boxing in
Downtown boxing.
Downtown Boxing and Fitness, I think. A friend of
Yeah.
mine, oh, watch this. A friend of mine owns that, and see, I used to fight. What? Okay, here's something about boxing that people should really know. You know, and everybody has their little thing about Don King, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a thief. He's a crook. He's this. He's that. Well, let me tell you my intervention, when the intervention, my communication with Don King, because I fought for Don King 5 times.
Yeah.
That man's paid me more than anybody else was willing to pay me. Paid me every little red cent he ever said he would. Gave me training expenses that he said, you name how much money you need for training expenses, and here's a check. I'll write a check. Go start training. Uh,
Really?
Dude, it was such. It was, dude. Everything he did was first class. He picked you up, like he advertised the fight months, maybe a month or two before it even happened, right? And for that month or two before you start training, he's flying you around the world promoting his fight. Dude, everywhere you go is first class. There's nothing second class with Donkey, nothing. Um, you flew in jets, you got picked up in limos, you stayed on penthouses. And man, one of my rooms was, as a matter of fact, I'm in New York City and we're there for we're doing some fights I was fighting uh, on the Greg Haugen, Roberto Duran, Vinny Pazienza card way
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fought Greg Haugen on that card. I think it was Greg Haugen. And so we were the semi-main, right? With like a double main event. So we flying around. We were in New York City, and I look out my window. I'm on the top floor. I look out my window. I'm overlooking Central Park. I got this big ass suite to myself, and I'm going, I made it. I finally made it. And I've been in a million in a hotel rooms, in a million suites, but nothing like that. It was just very, very classy. Uh, Watch this. I'm gonna tell you a little story, true story. Uh, but this is how it works. Uh, when I came, I guess he had been trying to get a hold of me for a while now. Don King was trying to get a hold of me, and they kept diverting him. Anyways, he gets a hold of my dad. My dad was my manager at the time, and he goes, "Hey, I'd like to have Tony fight for me for a few fights, and I want to see if we can sign a contract." So my dad talks to me. I said, "Yeah, I'll fight for him. He pays well. I'll fight for him." So we take at the time in Sacramento, there was an attorney called John Verga, and we took John Verga because he was my attorney, and my dad and myself. We fly to Vegas, and so he's staying up at Caesars, and we go up to his top floor, and it's time to have a meeting. So we knock on the door, and it's kind of crazy, dude. But I'll keep all the other stuff out. But you open the door, all these people walking around. Some of this crazy. It's just crazy. Mike
Mhm.
Tyson's there, and then so we sit down. We're at this table, and now, mind you, I'm a champion, but I still haven't seen stuff like this. Not
Mhm.
in person. There's this table, solid. I mean, a crane had to pick up this table, solid wood. It was it looked like about maybe 7 feet across the table. There was Don King, and it's about 30 feet long.
Damn.
That long and about 7 feet across. Huge table and nice chairs. We're sitting down, and Don King's the other side. It's so to my left was my dad, myself, and my attorney John Verga. To my right, right. So we're sitting there, and he's hemming and hawing, and ha ha ha, and all this other stuff, and we're talking smack, and he's having a good time. And Mike Tyson's in the room. Takes the phone to the room because Don King says, "Hey man, go talk to him over there. We're talking business over here." And he goes, "You better buy it because you're never going to find it for that price, or get something like that again." And I'm going, "Well, okay." I don't ask nothing, but I'm sitting down. And so we're talking, and again, Don King's hemming and hawing, and he's laughing. We're all chuckling. Mike Tyson's yelling something across from another room to Don King, going, "Hey man, should I buy you?" Don King says, "Man, you better buy it for that price. You ain't never gonna find it for that price again in your life." And it was $300,000. $300,000. This is in 1993, two or three, and so I'm wondering, hell's he buying for $300,000? Again, at that time, maybe a house for one of his family members or something. I'm thinking a house.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm champion of the world, so I got some diamonds on. I got my rollie on. I'm sitting there going, yeah, trying to act all tough. I got my little cross diamond, my diamonds on, but his is a lot bigger than mine. And then like a ton bigger than mine. And then so he's yelling back and forth to Tyson. He tells Tyson, and so I go, he goes, "You better buy it for that price. You never find it again." I go, it was $300,000. I'm going, because they're yelling for him. So I thought, well, what's he buying? He goes, "A watch." I like put my hand on. What's a $300,000 watch look like, dude? I mean, that was way beyond my comprehension of what I had
Yeah.
a $50,000 Rolex, but it had nothing to do with 300,000. I had no idea what it looked like, and but that's what kind of realm he's in. He's way above my grade pay. But he was honest. Uh, he was straight up. It was real. He paid me every dime he ever promised me. And he told me, he sat me down. He goes, "Mr. Lopez," he goes, "I see you're a man about your business." You want me to tell you why? And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because you're the only champion that he goes, any champions that he goes, you know how long it's been since any champion has brought an attorney with him to sign a contract?" He goes, "Can you read a contract?" I go, "No." I go, "That's why I brought John Berger for it." He goes, and that's why you're gonna make a lot of money in this business. He goes, "You know how many world champions sat in that same damn seat without an attorney?" He goes, "All the ones crying."